Friends, today we will explain the movie Society of the Snow released on Netflix. This is an adventure thrill film whose IMDb rating is 7.9. So let's start the story. This is about October 13, 1972, when an urgent rugby team is going to play a match. This flight has a total of 45 passengers, including 5 crew members. Some of them are also parents, who are going with them to support their children. Some of these players were going out of the country for the first time, who were very excited. Now all the people fly in flight number 571. Then the plane passes over the Andes mountain, which separates Argentina and Chile. During this time, the plane moves a lot. Then a passenger in the plane explains that when the hot air of Argentinian plains hits the cold air of the mountains, then the suction effect is created, which pulls the plane down. That is why we do not go straight and go south. Now, after a few miles, the plane suddenly starts to fall down, and all the passengers are very scared. Then the pilots fight with all their might to lift the plane up. But it crashes before the mountain crosses, and it breaks in 2 parts after crashing, with which many passengers fall out. Then the plane crashes from the snow, sliding down the mountain, and many passengers get injured by crashing between the seats, while many die instantly. In the middle of this scream, some passengers take the people trapped out and see that there is an atmosphere of blood and fear everywhere in the plane. Then some people go to the cockpit and see that the pilots are dead and the radio is not working. Now at night, the temperature here starts to drop rapidly and falls to -30 degrees. Maybe they were saved in the plane crash, but they could not survive in the cold. Now, to escape the cold, they cover the holes with bags and other things and sit next to each other. The atmosphere inside was very scary. Those who were injured were screaming with pain, and those who were not were scared. Now, as the night passes and when the morning comes, we see that many people have frozen to death. Then some passengers come out and see that there are mountains covered with snow all around them. If you don't do anything soon, everyone will die. That's why they take out the seats to make room inside the plane, and the injured are brought out in the sun. Then one of the passengers collects all the food and keeps them in a suitcase, because until someone comes to help them, they will have to survive with this food. 11 people had lost their lives in this plane accident, whose bodies they put on the other side. Then they hear the sound of the plane passing by, which was probably coming here in search of them. Everyone starts screaming for help, but rescue team can't see them. As night falls, everyone goes inside the plane and cover the holes, well so that the cold can't come inside. Another night passes like this. Next morning, a player named Nando wakes up, who came on this journey with his family, but his mother died in this accident, and his sister's condition was very delicate. Now they melt the ice and collect water and help the wounded people. Also, they make a big X sign with the help of this suitcase so that the planes passing through here can see them. Then another plane passes over them. Then all people try to distract them from the mirror. They feel that the people in the plane have seen us. That's why everyone starts dancing happily, but no one helps until evening and they go back inside the plane next morning. Numa says that we have to start the radio somehow and tell them that we are still alive. But the problem was that the battery of the plane was in the last part, which broke and fell back. So first they have to find that battery, after which 4 of them start climbing the mountain. When they reach up, they realize that their plane is not visible from here. That means if the rescue team would have come to find them, they would not have seen them. Then the snow starts to fall from the mountains and everyone comes back to the crash site. Now these people spent 6 days trapped here. Along with that, all the food was also over. Then Nando says that I can eat dead bodies to stay alive, because to save lives we have only this way. But everyone does not agree to this. Now some people can't control hunger. That's why they start smoking and smoking, because of which some of these survivors start having a blackout. Now there were 27 people who are still alive. But Nando's sister, who was unconscious for many days, she can't survive and leaves her body on the 8th day. Now they survive like this and 21 days pass. During this time they have to face snowy storms. But now it was getting difficult to control hunger. Then a passenger says that after my death, you can eat my body so that everyone can live. Then many more people also say this, and the body lying outside starts eating it. Although some people were still controlling their hunger, they believed that doing this is a sin and we can be punished for this, but hunger was so high that these people were going crazy, and those who were not able to eat were hoping that maybe some help would come and take them out of here. Then a survivor gets a snow-covered suitcase which had a radio inside. After a lot of struggle, these people fix it. Then from the news channel they found out that the crashed plane was found for 10 days, and 66 rescue operations were done. But no one was able to find the passengers. So now the work of finding the plane's wreck will be done after melting the ice. That means the government there was convinced that everyone had been killed in the plane crash accident. Because 24 planes have crashed in the mountains of Andes so far, of which so far no one survived. As soon as they heard this news, everyone breaks down badly, and now all their hopes of survival are over. That's why everyone is forced to eat bodies to survive, except for Noma. Now there was only one way to get out of here, that these people somehow find the last part of the plane which has a battery. Then 4 of them start searching again. Then they find 6 more dead bodies, which fell down during the plane crash, but they had no way to escape the cold, and all of them were frozen to death. Now they bury them here and move forward in search of the battery. Then the weather suddenly gets worse, and these people get stuck in that snowy storm. They had no way to escape the cold, so they spend the night together. Now the next morning, they were completely surrounded by snow. But the good thing was that the 3 were still alive. Then they come down the mountain, sliding on the plane's floor, after which they are taken inside the plane. But that night, a survivor loses the light of his eyes. Then Noma tells Nando that there are only snow-covered mountains above. Nando says that he is following those mountains, where we have to reach, but you have to eat something to stay alive, otherwise you will not be able to reach Chile. Now on the 17th day, we see that there is a strong snowstorm outside, because of which everyone has been stuck in the plane for 5 days. Then to pass the time, the atmosphere of the city becomes like a city and everyone entertains each other. Suddenly, an avalanche comes and collides with the plane, and the atmosphere of happiness does not take long to change into sadness. The whole plane was filled with ice and everyone was under it. Then some people come out and try to get the rest of the people out. But some people were still under it, in which Liliana, the name of the palace, breaks her breath before coming out. But the problem was not yet solved. Then another avalanche comes and these people are again buried in the ice. Then these people make a hole in the plane and make room for oxygen. Later, after counting, it is known that in this incident, they have lost 8 more companions. But these people have not eaten anything for 6 days and were getting out of hunger. That's why these people start eating the bodies again. But now they knew whose flesh they were eating. This makes Noma very upset. That's why I try to get out of the plane. And in this attempt, his leg gets injured. Now every 20 days, everyone comes out of the plane and see that the storm has stopped. Everyone was breathing well in the open air. Then some people take out the plane by removing the ice. Noma sees that there is a cut on his leg. But because of the cold, I couldn't feel anything, which I ignore and get stuck in work. Now the snow was melting faster than the hot sun, which makes it easier for these people to get out of the plane. But surviving at night was still a challenge for everyone. Now on the 34th day, an injured passenger's health starts deteriorating. His lungs were filled with water, because of which I was not able to breathe, and he dies soon, after which 4 survivors go to Argentina to look for help. These people were wearing thick clothes to save themselves from the cold. But soon Noma's health starts deteriorating and he falls down the mountain. Then after checking, it turns out that he has an infection in his foot, because of which I will not be able to go further. Noma says that you keep searching. I will go back from here alone. Now when I return back to the plane, then he sees that another injured passenger has died here. Then the next morning when Noma wakes up, he sees that some people are taking ice out of the plane's cockpit, and the 3 survivors who have gone have also returned. Nando tells that when we went to the east, we found the last part of the plane there. We found warm clothes, rum bottles, and chocolate at that place. We also found a battery there, but it was very difficult to bring it here. That's why we are taking the radio there, so that we can contact the waste next morning. They go there again and try to fix the radio. But even after a lot of efforts, the radio doesn't turn on. There, the infection of Noma spreads throughout his body, and he knew that it was not possible to save him. That's why he stops eating. There, Nando gets a lot of fabric from that mill, which was waterproof. Now, before nightfall, they come back. Nando says that we will make his sleeping bag, with which we can easily spend the night. Now, the next day, everyone listens to the news on the radio, in which it was being told that the 571 plane has been missing for 58 days. But the good news was that the Air Force was going to start looking for it again. Then some people say that we can't trust them and sit. This time too, maybe they can't find us. So as soon as the sleeping bag is ready, we will leave from here. Then these people click some pictures from Noma's camera. That night, Noma was in a very bad condition. I say that after my death, you can eat my body. When it's morning, it turns out that Noma is dead. He gets a letter from him, in which it was written that there is no greater love than giving your life for friends. These last words of Noma fill a new Jose in everyone. Then the next day, Nando, Roberto, and Tint decide to get out of here. This time the good thing was that they had sleeping bags and food. They start climbing the mountain from the best. Nando believed that they will cross this mountain and reach Chile. Now it becomes evening while climbing, and the strong snowy winds start blowing. Then they dig a hole in the snow and make a place, and spend the whole night inside that sleeping bag. Now, as soon as it is morning, they start climbing again. First of all, Nando reaches the peak and see that there is a huge mountain range in front of them. That means they have to travel a lot, but it will take them at least 12 days to cross this valley, while the food was only left for 8 days, so they send Tinit back on the plane so that their food can last for longer. Now Nando and Rover move ahead of those snowy mountains, and after walking for many days, they reach the valley where the area was very rocky. Then Nando's shoe breaks, which Rover ties with a cloth. Now one morning, these two leave that snowy area and reach the river and drink water to their stomach. Then they see a man on the other side of the river who was riding a horse. They ask for help. Then that man throws a paper and pencil at them, after which Nando writes everything about himself on that paper, with which he goes to the police station, and his message reaches the air rescue service. And then a new rescue mission begins. That horseman brought Nando and Roberto home, where they both eat full. Then many journalists go to interview them, and the whole world gets to know about them. When the rest of the people hear this news, they go crazy with happiness, and such people start to get excited as if they are going to a wedding. Then the helicopter arrives to pick them up, and after 71 days, these people are rescued from there. However, only 6 out of 45 were able to survive. When these people were brought back, all the family members were already waiting for them, who were very happy to see them alive. Now they are brought to the hospital, where a lot of crowds gathered to see them. All the people were eager to hear their story. The doctors were also surprised to see their body like a stone. That, how are these people alive? They were basically heroes in the eyes of the world, but everyone was broken from inside. They were asking themselves the same question again and again, that why didn't they come back? They were so lonely that everyone stayed together in the hospital. And with this scene, this story ends. So friends, this was the story of the Society of the Snow movie, which you must have liked. Do comment below and let me know how you liked this story. See you in the next video.